Knowledge of selections and our knowledge of layer masks and see how we can further combine these two skills in Photoshop. So for this, I want to select the umbrella and the reflection underneath, but this will be a little bit hard to come in here and use my quick selection tool to paint all of this detail. Why don't we select the background and then inverse our selection? That might be an easier way to problem solve this. So I'm just going to come around here and select our background, and you can see that Photoshop did a pretty good job of selecting the umbrella. It missed the key handle here, so I'm going to come in and hold down the Option key, and that'll change my brush to a minus. So I'm subtracting that area. And for this particular file, I'm going to go and do the Select pull-down menu and then inverse my selection. So now I've selected the background, but I truly wanted to select the umbrella and the reflection. So select, inverse, and then now I have my selection here. The main thing that I want to do is come down to my Add Layer Mask icon. I'll click that, and you could see that it created a layer mask with my umbrella. Whatever was selected is white, whatever is not selected is black in the layer mask, and you can see that it included that handle. Now, there was a step, and let me go back one step here, that we could have done in addition to this selection to kind of fine-tune it, and we've learned that. We could have done select and mask here, and it would refine that selection for us. But there's another thing that we can do combining our knowledge of selections and layer masks. Here I'm just going to go where we were, add layer mask with the layer mask icon, and then double click into my layer mask to bring up the properties panel. I could actually refine my layer mask after my selection has been made. So then if I'm having a complicated file with many layers and I do this selection and I move on to edit something else, I create my layer mask and I move on. Well, I could always come back to this layer mask and select and mask here, and then I could, pick a good view mode that I could see the edge here, and for me this overlay is working pretty well. I'll turn on Smart Radius, and then I'll smooth just like we were doing before. I'll feather that edge slightly, and then I think what this really needs is some contrast to bring it into the object itself, and then maybe shifting that edge just slightly. And in this way I could, come in here and augment some of these problem areas that I might be having, but I'm using the power of refining my selection, but I'm refining my mask instead. So to output this, it outputs it to the layer mask itself. So then I'll just hit OK, and then the layer mask has been changed through select and mask. And I could come in here and zoom in a little bit and paint away, hitting the B key and then a small brush, some of these areas that might be giving me a problem. I could come in here and paint away with black these specific areas here and really fine-tune what is happening in these parts of the image. So this is just for demo, but